Australia Stadium, Bennett Field, here at West Beach in suburban Adelaide. We are at the midway point of the first innings, Game 3 between the Brisbane Bandits and the Adelaide Giants. The Bandits got 2 on, a long hit by Donald Lutz, missed a home run by that much, probably 2 or 3 feet, if that. But O'Loughlin, in his return, managed to get the second strikeout and leave the Bandits scoreless. Now, well, we go from a youngster who's got the great journey ahead of him to a man who has achieved so much. Team Australia captain Tim Atherton, who we're very thankful of. What was it, just 3 weeks ago that he lined up in Giants colours? I guess that's the nature. We've been talking about the clubs working together, and to me that was a nice touch that a couple of players ended up in different spots. To me, just a nice touch.
Look, and being open, that's the only way for the sport to progress.
Yes.
There has to be, I'm okay for we compete between the lines, and that's the game. But off field, we've got to continue to work together. We need to, and they use the word collaboration. That showed the level of collaboration between the two organizations of being able to work together to find a common ground solution. And I'll be honest with you, our players were just as excited to be part of that opportunity, as our principal owner, Mark Reedy, was, as far as working with the Giants organization and Nathan Davidson. And like I said, our sport's too small not to collaborate in that manner.
Yeah. Off field, there's plenty of other things to compete with. That's where that collaboration becomes very important. 1-1 is the count. Jack Partington, he's had a good series, 2 for 7, 2 runs, an RBI and a strikeout. For this weekend, he's had 11 RBIs in total. Of course, these are stats that were never in, but he's going to have another hit to his tally and lead off man on, and he's having himself a summer, young Jack.
He's impressive. I really like, when I talk about his player makeup, he's facing the captain of Team Australia. He's facing the aces of the Bandits. He's got 4 Claxton Shields, and he shoots a ball up the middle for a base hit. So that just shows he is really embracing his opportunity, and this is what's so great about these showcases.
So now Rickson Wingrove, sponsored by Zambreros. Not sure if people have caught it through the week. Check out the Adelaide Giants Facebook page. But Geordie McArdle and Rickson Wingrove tried their hands at making a burrito at Zambreros. Suffice to say, I think baseball might be more their thing.
Well, they're showing they have transition skills.
That's it. The one that I'm disappointed, a couple of years ago they had a burrito eating competition and I wasn't invited. I reckon I might have had a chance at that.
Well, I reckon Jack will give you a run.
Oh, yeah.
And Wingrove would definitely give you a run. He's a big man.
Yeah. A hungry man. Right now he wants some hits. And no one in the count. Atherton puts that in the wheelhouse. Wingrove genuflects, but misses the ball.
And this is a good matchup. That's what I like to see, is you've got the future of Australia baseball right here at the plate, and you've got the current, as far as captain, leader of the game on the bump. And these are the matchups these young men need to see. It's, if you're going to compete at an international level for success, or even when I'm talking about with these organizations as well as for Team Australia, you're facing this every day. There's
a shift on. That one is down low. It's not as extreme.
I think Atho wanted that one.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I think Wingrove is a bit of a legend here, so I think they gave...
Yeah, it's okay. It's only the first. Yeah. It's not the 7th yet.
Yeah, but veteran guys, they hit their spots, they want them.
Yeah.
That's the way, that's the unwritten rule.
He didn't think it missed by much.
Ooh.
That one, stolen base attempt at third. So Wingrove has struck out. And we have Partington safe at second. It's quite something in baseball where you go from a quiet patch and all of a sudden there's 3 things that all happen at once.
Get a chance to see the replay right there. And once again, good job by the leadoff hitter being able to take off on the breaking ball to Wingrove. But now he's actually advanced himself and put himself in scoring position with another very dangerous hitter at the plate.
Jordan McArdle. Wingrove and McArdle as a 2-3 punch is
Don't even mix in Mead and Whitefield in that.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what I'm saying.
exactly right.
It just, like I said, you're 1 through 9 in this organization, particularly with your relationship with the Phillies and the way they handpick those athletes. This is a very, very strong lineup for a number of years to come.
That's right. So now Atherton's got man at second to watch. I mean, that throw from Jay Myers, who's the catcher, got there with a bit of speed, and you've always got to throw to the right-hand side of the bag from our angle, because that's where you've got to make the instant tag. On that occasion, just a little bit too far to the right, and Partington had a beat.
Yeah, good jump too. Atho's probably about a 1.4, 1.5 to home, so that's slower, but he's a power arm, so it gives a speedy runner, which he's a plus runner, a little bit more time. Good pitch.
Yeah, nicely done. Even McArdle seemed to nod. Yep, I was done in by that one. Down 0-2 in the count. 1 out, 1 on.
And that's the difference between, let's say, higher level arms, is that they have command of multiple pitches, even early, whereas younger arms might have velo, and Atho still sits in that low 90-mile-an-hour range. But he has the command, which you can't just sit on the one pitch.
As we got a steal attempt at third, Partington, and that one is thrown. That's into the right. We're going to have a run. That's aggressive running that sometimes blows up, but on that occasion pays dividends, and the Giants score first.
Well, you can see right there, he just outran the baseball and put a lot of pressure on Myers. Myers, through the rush, throws it past Nielsen at third. It allows him to score easily, but once again, just outrunning the baseball. And that's, once again, that's what a leadoff man does. He just creates spark and that little bit of energy at the top of the order.
So that is his 4th run. No, actually, that is his 6th run. As very quietly, McArdle strikes out. Gee, there is a fair bit happening in this inning. That's 2nd strikeout.
And the plus that won't show up in the scorebook right there, Atherton gets the punch out on a very tough hitter, but everything was generated on a stolen base,
yep,
errant throw, and they manufactured a run, and no one's actually put a ball in play.
Yep. I mean, that would be an earned run because it was a single to centre that got him on in the first place.
Correct.
And I think after that, once they're on, it counts. But now Edwards, he wastes no time. I reckon that's going to drop. It does. Ooh. I tell you, there was a bit of spin on that hit. You saw when it hit the turf, it took a fairly wild hit left. So both pitchers, I thought this was going to be an interesting pitching duel. O'Loughlin struggled a bit. Atherton's given up a couple of hits and hasn't had a lot of help from the defence so far.
Look, I still think it will be. I don't think we're going to see a big number, particularly with the 2 arms on the mound. And also how long Jack goes in and how deep the Giants' pitching rotation is in Game 2 of Game 3 of a 3-game series.
Well, that's the other thing, is that I think the only pitches we haven't seen from Brisbane so far would be Sam Holland.
Yep.
There's a couple that only pitched an inning, so if needed, they might come back. Giants are in a whole different world. They've got, I reckon, about 5 pitchers that maybe didn't pitch last weekend, haven't pitched so far this weekend, and given the nature of the contest, are probably going to consider that they should get a go. So. And this is where it's an interesting balance, particularly with this exhibition series of, winning's important, but also we've got some other goals in mind.
Look, and I think that's that's the difference that this year particularly is, because there's a development component to this as well. The 2 managers might make decisions that they wouldn't make if we were playing for a Shield. Yep. One, we wouldn't have brought 18 players.
No.
but the reality is that. The Giants now can maybe go more arms to give them innings, as opposed to maybe how do we close this thing out quick.
You didn't bring the pair of boots just in case they got a bit short?
No, mate, I'm long past that. The ball comes in too fast for me now.
2-1 count. Max Staggers at the plate with Edwards at first, and the Giants with a 1. That's up, and that's out of here. That's foul.
But that's one bit. And you talked about taking some of the positives. Some of the positives are now is that you know, there's some athletes now that these coaches can project. And no disrespect to the competitions at the local level, but because there's not a consistency of seeing quality arms, it's hard to give a real evaluation on an athlete.
Yep. Well, in essence, this would have been Claxton Shield, I say good old days, but back in your 60s, 70s or 80s, this is the Australian talent from the different states.
Yeah, well, it was blood sport back then too. So,
yeah.
But like I said, but it's giving these athletes a chance to compete.
Now, I'm just thinking, because you played in the original ABL,
correct.
Brisbane and the Melbourne Monarchs. You played in the International Baseball League that replaced that for a little while. Yep. Did you play in a state-based Claxton Shield at any stage?
Well, when it went to the Claxton Shield format, we played a few Claxton Shield, one in Victoria and one in Sydney. So yes, when we were still wearing our Rams colours and wearing our different state association colours. So yes, and it was competitive. But I'm also very fortunate to have a number of Hall of Fame and alumni brothers as you know, friends, and they told me about the old Claxton Shield days, and it was blood sport.
Okay.
It was on.
It was on.
But like I said, there's a long history of the game, and like I said, in traditions, and David was part of it. David was playing in Claxton Shield events when he was 16. Mm-hmm. I think he won the Helms at 16, you know, so.
And it's good in some ways that the Helms, the Claxton Shield, as the different competitions, whatever the elite level is, that's where the Claxton Shield goes.
Well, it's the second oldest shield in Australia. So I think there's so much history to the shield, and hence why, you know, Baseball Australia and the ABL is so important for this young generation to continue to compete for that history.
Yeah. Certainly has grown in size over the years, that is for sure. Strike one on Brodie Ariola. There's 2 on now for the Giants. Ariola has flown in the direction of the staff car park. And,
just a quick chat, and it's just right there, just young catcher in Myers, first time catching Atherton, and that's just about runner on second, making sure that they're on cue with signs, because the last thing we're going to do is get crossed up or be indecisive in that situation.
Often in those scenarios, it's the catcher with the experience who comes up and calms the young pitcher. That one's almost in reverse.
That is, but that's what's so good, is that helps his maturity as a young player and accelerates it.
0-2 count. That one is hit just past the glove of, I reckon, Mitch Nielsen. Could this bring another run? The throw is wayward enough. It's hit the brick wall. Another run has been added. That is Mitch Edwards. And Matchstick has himself an RBI. And
once again, good job. He got a breaking ball that was up in the zone. He stayed through it. Young Myers got a little bit handcuffed on the throw from Zamora in left, and able to score. And all of a sudden now, with a couple swings of the bat, Giants lead 2-0. Got a chance to see Atho on the cover. He said he actually tapped his chest. That's my fault. And once again, that's veteran guy. He made a pitch and didn't hit his spot. And good job of the young man and be able to barrel it up in the left. So
Liam Bull is at third. Stagg is at second. That would have been Mitch Edwards who scored the second run. If you're scoring along at home. 2-0 lead to the Adelaide Giants. You can't call it a sweep if it's a 3-game series, but looking to have a good weekend. Let's leave it at that.
Well, and I think it's so important for organizations, and people don't really understand it at times, how important it is to win at home. I mean, your team can struggle on the road, but I tell you what, when you're home, it's so good to put on a good show for your fans.
Yeah. And as we build a fan base out here at what is still a relatively new stadium for the Giants, that's critically important. One of the, you can always glass half full, glass half empty. We had 2 years ago the ABLCS against the Melbourne Aces. And whilst we went down in 2 games, that second game here was a full house. Almost 2,000 people here. Couldn't sell another ticket. And that was just awesome. It was almost a field of dreams moment. We've built it and the people have come. Well,
and to credit to the organisation and the fans of Adelaide and South Australia, you hosted a grand final also at the old Norwood Oval as well, and you had the largest crowd in league history, and the highest ticket sales. So the one thing I've always advocated is when this organization is winning, the fans come out in big numbers to support their team.
Yep, as they certainly have to Brisbane in that wonderful championship era. 2-2-2 with 2 in scoring position. That's wayward. That's hit the brick wall. Here comes another run. It's 3-0, and we are still at the bottom of the first.
Yeah, just a little chat right there, and that's Arthur right there working with a very young catcher, and like I said, his normal catcher would be Ryan Battaglia, so Battaglia's not catching tonight, so it's young Myers. Like I said, it's people don't understand the relationship between catcher and pitcher. It's so important, particularly with a veteran guy, because then the thought process is taken out, and he just focused on one thing: is execution. Right now, you can see the marriage is about working together and trying to get on that same page. Get a chance to see the replay right there. Oh, that's a foul ball right there. But like I said, they're still, you can see early on in this ball game, they're just making adjustments to each other, and that's not a reflection on Myers. It's just like I said, it's a new look, absolutely new look.
That one not too far to range at our intrepid cameraman above the first base dugout. So this is the 9th batter up for the Giants in the first. So this is the 8th batter up, my apologies. Brock Wells. Looks that one, and he's ahead. Oh, it's a 1-1 count. Wells, one of the small handful of the 22. I think there's 4. Don't play club ball in SA. He's from Geelong. He's come over to get his chance over here. I think it's the Bay Cats, the Geelong baseball team, I think.
I have to trust you on that one.
No, don't trust. Don't. That's error number 1 gone here. Don't trust me. Unless I've got it typed up. And he's got, well, he's 1 strike away. He's been in the air a couple of times, Tim Atherton, of just needing 1 more strike to end this inning. But it's the Giants are not going quietly into the night. Jack Partington, who singled to centre to start it all and scored. He's ready to come back, but Atherton solicits the swing. And after a pretty long first innings of baseball, the Adelaide Giants have put 3 on the board. They lead this contest 3-0. Let's check out how the boys went making burritos.
A little boohoo burrito.
What do you got for me?
Slapper in here. I don't know how long to put it in there for though. Yeah, no, that's good enough. Mucho beans and rice. My Espanols.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's a lot of rice.
Yeah, it's alright. We're gonna stack this thing. Get out. None of that meat stuff for you. Vegan only.
Need the meat for me.
The vegan cheese. Because Zambreros is very friendly.
Just a little bit.
To vegans. Vegan sour cream. Oh, that's money. Guacamole, mate.
Absolutely.
Hand in there.
You gonna be able to wrap that?
Yeah.
Fair bit.
I'm good at it. That's the bit that I can do, mate. Oh, that was money. That was money. Bit of corn chips for you. Bit of crunch. All right, now we gotta wrap it. Oh, you gotta get it out, mate. I've seen this before, not my first rodeo. Come on.
There's no way.
Tell you what, I'm nearly there. Get in there. Just stuff her in, she'll be right.
You can't even wrap it properly.
Hold it that way.
Jeez. Thank you.
Money.
I gotta go this area. What about? Oh, chips. Pretty good. The chips is a good, corn chips is a good addition. I didn't witness that, so that was a good surprise. It was pretty good. 8 out of 10.
And yes, we certainly do thank Zambreros as we have a look at our intrepid. Oh, nicely done. Our intrepid first base cameraman. Interesting position there to be on top of the dugout. Yeah, there you go. Look at me, Mum, TV star. working both sides of the camera very well. We go to the top of the second inning, and the Bandits have some work to do. It will be 5, 6, 7, I think in the order. No, it will be 6, 7, 8. As it will be Myers, Lem and Smith. Lachlan to work. So the first innings went a fair while. Lachlan's first innings went 26 pitches and Atherton's went 33.
And those are big numbers for both arms, to be honest with you. They're normally working at a lot lower pitching efficiencies. They're probably sitting around that 12 to 14 mark and doubled their pitch count.
Yeah, so I'd be surprised if this will probably be the last inning we'll see of Jack O'Loughlin at that rate. He's ahead 0-2 in the count. And ring-a-ding-ding. Gets his second strikeout of the night. And that was on Jay Myers.
That was actually Tyson Zamora.
Okay,
so,
well, yeah, I'm totally stuffed with my lineup. I do apologise.
Myers he's next.
He's up next. Okay. Yep, you're right. I'm trying to do this off the live stats, and they were very quick. And, of course, one of the tricks is eventually you get to recognise a lot of these players pretty quickly, but it's a whole bunch of new faces this year, which is exciting, but can be challenging at the same time. So Myers down 0-2 in the count, I think. O'Loughlin has thrown 5 pitches, nothing but strikes so far.
Yeah, he's found a different rhythm in inning 2. First inning, you could see a little feeling things out, but his command's been outstanding with both his pitches.
Well, that one came straight back over. He had to turn around, grab it cleanly. That's an easy 2 out so far. So, check the number. Right, John Lem. It's up.
And this is what's good. Like, you know, you look at a young hitter in Lem who's committed to junior college next year, and he'll leave in August, and now all of a sudden he gets to face left-handed farmhand, you know, that with experience, you know. So we've seen Jack at a very young age in the early ABL days, and now see him mature, and you know, Lemmy gets a chance to see him veteran arm really at a young age.
Right back and past Jack. This one's there for the shortstop. Off the bag, got the tag. Yep. That was good work by our both players there.
Tell you what,
O'Loughlin did well to get out the way. See a clean pickup, and McArdle heads up off the bag to still get the out.
Yeah, look at the play by the shortstop. He actually well positioned, makes a good throw right there. McArdle did a good job of just reacting. So ball's hit sharply up the middle, little tricky hop, pulled the first baseman off the bag, but just good feed right there and able to get the speedy Lem down the line.
Yeah, Rickson Wingrove, not the only player who can show some tricks at first base. That was a very quick 1, 2, 3 for O'Loughlin. And so you said you expected the pitches would eventually settle down. Seems to be the case for the Giants. Let's see what Atherton can do as the Giants go back to the top of the lineup. One other question I was going to ask, and sorry if I feel like I'm picking your brain tonight, because this is, for me, a great experience to have someone who has so much knowledge of what's happening and what happens in the game. I did hear some stories from time to time about Brisbane Stadium, Acacia Ridge. Brisbane, of course, Olympics 2032. There's going to be sports infrastructure happening. Can baseball get in on that in some way, do you think?
Look, we'll definitely, that'll be BA working with the AOC, and then the AOC working with the IOC. So there's a few layers there.
Yeah.
As far as Brisbane, we're still fully committed to the development of that facility. Brisbane was in a position where we had leveraged some investment and some land. It didn't work out 2 years ago, but doesn't mean that discussions haven't stopped. Yeah. We're currently working with an architectural firm at the moment called Skewed, who's currently supporting us in a stadium design concept. And we're still working both at state and local and federal levels for that facility. Our goal is not just 32. Obviously, that's part of the roadmap, but also build that state facility to support baseball in Queensland. And then beyond would be hosting the 32 games, and then what else can we do from an international
Just
level?
can you leverage, because with that might be able to come a pre-Olympics tournament or something to test facilities. And
So to answer your question, yes, we're still in discussions. We're working closely now with Baseball Queensland and the current commissioner, Chris Norrie, just in discussions of putting together at least a strategic panel, and our principal, Mark Reed, is very, very connected at that level, and we're in discussions both state and federal and local to make it all happen. So, like I said, as you know, in this ballpark and the potential for the next one, there's a lot of moving parts.
Yep.
But the thing is that we're all on the tools, and that's the long-term vision for the organization as well.
yeah.
But I tell you what, as you know, and as this club too knows, and the state body realizes, it's a joint effort. The collective investment just to maintain the asset, it could be upwards of $100 grand. So it's money that you've got to find and leverage, but you also got to protect your asset because it's so important to our game.
Every Olympic city finds that. They build great infrastructure. What do they do afterwards?
Well, and that's the part is the succession planning and the sinking funds for sustainability to maintain the asset. And not only that, but it's replacement of bulbs, and all of a sudden you get a mite in your grass, or you've got issues with flooding. So there's a number of variables that come in.
Well, there's been 4 outs registered on the Giants, and they have all been struck out. Nothing out on the field of play as yet.
That's a typical line for out, though, too.
It is a feast or famine right now.
But you look at the board, and the Giants have managed to manufacture 3 runs against one of the best arms in the country.
Yeah. They weren't already getting some good confidence out of this series, the Giants. That inning certainly would help. I mean, last 5 or 6 years, I've remembered plenty of trips going to Melbourne that have not ended well. And yet they came back from Melbourne with a 2-1 series win and were the better of the 2 teams pretty much all the way through. So it'll be a long time to apply this to ABL games, but you take what you can get.
But I'll tell you, it's if you look at the last really 5-6 years, this organization in particular has found itself in a big dance. And that's a credit to, the whole organization as far as what they're trying to build and create. And so even that alone is success in a number of ways.
All right, so Darcy Barry was the leadoff man. It was 9-1-2. This is Jack Partington, who's up at the moment.
Get a chance to just look at those mechanics and just, what makes him so difficult, and it's just so clean. It's such an easy arm action. But the one thing that's always made him so tough and formidable on the bump is that he just comes at you. It's hit it if you can. So he's not afraid to challenge some of the best in the world. We saw him in the Premier 12 against Team USA, beat Team USA, and that was a massive, massive win for Team Australia. But he was on the bump, taking on some of the best players, in the world at the moment.
I think I was reading his first Team Australia experience was actually that Major League Baseball series in Sydney.
Yeah, against the Dodgers and Diamondbacks.
Which seems like... Does that seem like an eternity ago?
No, you know what seems like an eternity ago is 2000 Olympics seems like an eternity.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. Yeah.
That was, it feels like many, many moons ago.
Paddington tries to find the gap between short and third. Not there. Low throw got him. And there's been a fair bit of work out there for the shortstop and Luke Smith on that occasion up for the task.
Yeah, like really good play right here. That's a tough play. It's an in-between help on the backhand, comes through and gets the runner getting down the line, but it's not an easy play, particularly on the backhand side, but out number 2.
So far, and things can change in a moment, a much easier inning for Tim Atherton working through here. Friction Wingrove here to upset the apple cart. And one of the things I've noticed about Wingrove and McArdle compared with previous years, they've always had the power and they've always come up with the big home runs from time to time. It's their patience now.
But that just comes through experience, and they'll start to master their craft. And they talk about minor leagues. They look at, once they get to about 2,000 plus at bats, they start to really look at their big rig ready. 2,000. And he's in a minor league season, you'll get 500 at bats if you're injury free. So, you know, once he gets into year 4 of his professional career, he starts now getting to that measure where he starts understanding his strike zone and then his strengths and weaknesses as well.
Yeah. Let's just talk about the patience as a hoof at a breaking ball. It leaves nothing but dust. Because, I mean, you know, we see the Australian League, it's a weekend league, Thursday night through to Sunday, depending on the schedule. But, of course, out there in the minors, it's
a grind.
It's a grind,
7 days.
7 days, yeah.
Ooh.
Chances are not much. Not much.
So once again, that's the second time he's hit that spot.
Yeah.
And let's just say, Arthur doesn't really show much body language when he doesn't get a call, but like he wants it. But Wingrove has gained some tremendous amount of respect here in South Australia. So it's you know, it's a good battle. I love the battle.
All the twos. No one on for the Giants. 3-0 lead to the home side. And that battle on this occasion won by the Australian captain. That will end it for the Giants. Scoreless in that one, but they retain a 3-0 lead. We will be back after the break. Nicely done, Australian.
Well, the point ultimately is to play some baseball. You know, a lot of us, it's been a long while since we've been actually on a field, so just to be able to have an opportunity to go out there and, you know, compete with our mates is exciting, but it's also going to give some young kids an opportunity to compete at a higher level than they've been at, so it's exciting. You know, the goals themselves will be, you know, relative to each individual. There'll be some guys with a little bit more experience that might be refining something more, you know, specific about their game, but some of the young kids, as I mentioned before, just the goal for them is just to be exposed and almost be a little bit vulnerable and be better for it at the back end.
The goals with the pitching staff is to show them how we kind of do things at this level and, yeah, expose them to the culture and the processes and the philosophies, and then hopefully they can impart it into their club ball experience after this and be better off for it.
In terms of expectations, a lot of it's not going to be necessarily results based. You know, whilst it's good to win every game or win every pitch that you go out there and, you know, when you're competing against another team, but ultimately it's just, you know, to gather as much experience as we can and learn from it.
The biggest thing with the younger demographic we have here, I think, is developing routines and understanding how to evaluate performances and then just build off that.
Hopefully it's special for them. I know it's really cool for us to have seen a lot of these kids come through, and I know for myself, having a few of them in junior programs when I worked down at Baseball SA, it was really cool to see them in the same uniform as us, and hopefully they use it as a springboard into the future.
As you can see, a glorious night here in the South Australian capital, Bennett Field, Dicolour Australia Stadium. Pretty as a picture and a decent crowd in, especially down the first base line. Paul Gonzalez, Phil Hurden with you on the call of this one, and we've got a pitching change on the hill. We've gone from one Giants American prospect playing in America and Jack O'Loughlin, to one a little bit on the earlier side of the scale, Riley Aitman, who signed with the Padres, I reckon about 18 months ago. He has gone to the States, but hasn't he hasn't got a stat that at least I could find yet, Gons, and they tend to record every single stat possible when they play in the States. And I think it's a slightly different induction now they give to some of the youngsters that first year they go over. More skills development, a little bit less baseball, I think.
And I think it's a good move. I mean, people forget, and I heard this analogy once that people talk about, just because Australians speak English doesn't mean they speak American. And so the reality is you go through a transition. It's a completely different culture and world to these young athletes, and you know, don't expect it's an automatic land and then they're acclimate. And so by doing that allows the players to kind of adjust to their surroundings and all the moving parts of the U.S. And you think about us as adults, we go into a new city and we're driving and you're trying to get your bearings. So imagine a young athlete landing in L.A. and then going to their spring training complex.
I grew up, born and bred in Adelaide, spent 6 years in Brisbane.
Yeah.
Those one-way streets in the CBD, man. Ann Street, Edward Street. Oh, golly, took me. I was a cab driver there as well, even worse. Got to know all the places.
But like I said, there's more I guess there's wiser minds looking at the athletes in a different lens, as I would say. And so now they're looking at, let's not throw them in the deep end and hope they swim. Let's help them transition so they can have success. And I think it's great by the organization to allow him to adjust.
So 2-2 count. Aitman's first pitch. This one is out to Partington. He didn't have to make too much ground, but had that nicely covered. And Luke Smith is retired. Reading your profile, amazing, okay. You've played in 4 continents, college ball in the States, minor league in the States, Italy, Japan, and of course, wonderful career here.
Taiwan
as well. I like
Mexico.
that. Mexico. See, they're not even on your list.
No.
You got to get it reviewed, mate.
Ooh, good play.
Yeah, nicely picked up.
Really good play.
I'll tell you what,
I don't know if he
McArdle versus Wingrove at first base is quite a battle.
I don't know if he caught that or it caught him. It's one of those. But you know what? He sold it well, and it's out number 2. Tell you what, I'm impressed by the young arm. Like when you look at his physical makeup, he's long levers and a big, tall frame. So obviously, once they can kind of put a bit more meat on him and fine-tune his mechanics, you can see why the organization saw some opportunities with this young man.
So 2 up, 2 down. So if I was running through your resume, Coach, the different culture, was there one particular place that you played that was just a lot of fun?
I'll be honest with you, my best baseball experience was in Japan. The culture there is absolutely amazing, and I was fortunate that Ichiro Suzuki was on the team I played on, and my first start in the big leagues was against Daisuke Matsuzaka at 19. And when there's 60,000, at that game, and tell us, that was pretty special.
And that was a blessing and a curse to have Ichiro on your side, because he was third baseman, wasn't he?
No. Ichiro played right field.
He played right field?
Yeah,
okay.
and Ichiro could play wherever he wanted. That's what he was. But he was a primary a right fielder, and he was the first real transition athlete that kind of went over and just absolutely dominated at the major league level. And you would imagine first ballot induction into the Hall of Fame with his resume. But it was a treat. Just their passion for the game, their respect for the game, and like I said, no disrespect to anywhere else I played, but it was an amazing experience, to say the least.
I love the only professional game I've seen outside of Australia was a place called Karakan Stadium, home of the Nippon Ham Fighters, in Tokyo before they made it the Tokyo Dome.
Correct.
Long time ago. And it's a disappointment to me. This is just obviously a side note as we watch the Dino Dash, and I just can't stop laughing every time I see it. It's a great league, the Japanese league, but
I don't know if the dinosaurs would go well. It might be Godzilla versus Godzilla in Japan, but it's a great activation. And once again, Adelaide has done Giants have always done a great. Their activation program here has been. Now everyone's going to be running dinosaurs across the field.
Oh, look, the dinos are going into extras now. They're going to take those suits home with them. I just wish with the Japanese league that you could actually get English broadcasts that you could access.
Well, and that's something I think as the sport is now international, and then, that's something that obviously should be considered. But once again, like the markets. We're very fortunate. Look at the Geelong Korea team that come and play in Geelong. Yeah. They run a Korean production team, and that streams out or broadcasts out to 40 million plus. They still have an English broadcast, and they still shoot their Korean broadcast. So it can be done. I was fortunate enough to call a Team Australia Japan game in Sydney with Andrew Reynolds, and we were sitting in Sydney, and people were texting me like, "What's it like in Japan?" And I'm like, didn't want to break their hearts saying I'm not even in Japan, but that's where we're at with technology up today.
Yeah. We have an athletics meeting down at Golden Bay Sheffield as Jordan McArdle is up. I got to sit at the same table as Bruce McAvaney.
Oh, wow.
For mine, the doyen of commentators, full stop. And of course, they called the Olympics remotely. And it's probably, people have budgets and money talks, and I think that remote commentary thing is probably going to be here for a while for those kind of events, alas.
Well, our technology has allowed us to. There's no delay. In the booths, you have up to 3 monitors, you have access to the whole production team in Asia, so you can hit the button and say, I need the third base camera,
Yep.
and it's on. And so, like I said, I was fortunate because obviously my relationship with David, he was managing, and I would just get some insight, like I was having a discussion with him prior to the game. And so there was a lot of intel being shared internationally just through our technology of today.
Once again, there's a decent shift on for J-Mac here. Third base is at shortstop. Left field is still there, and everybody else is right of second base. J-Mac is still trying to hit it down the first base line, which is, given the field position, is kind of audacious.
Well, a lot of players don't want to go outside their game plan. Remember, like pitching, hitters have game plan. All of a sudden, if they start hitting against their game plan, they're hitting against the grain. Oh, good pitch, good location.
That is strikeout number 6.
And right there, if you look at the science of the shift, Atho just went outer half. And that's where you looked at Wingrove shot the ball left, so he took advantage of the mistake. Right there, Atho executed his pitch, but it's actually against the shift.
Yep.
So
And J-Mac really didn't want to go there.
No, he didn't. And like I said, that's what I'm saying. He had a game plan, and it's I'm committed to the pull,
Yep.
and he's not coming off it.
Well, it worked with McArdle. Now they're going to try it the same field positioning for Edwards.
And Edwards is a different type of hitter. His spray chart would show a lot different. He's more of an alley guy. He's not going to be a big hook type guy or a big dominant pull guy. So interesting, they still play, but obviously the new charts and all the analytics show that ball on the right side is usually on the ground. Once again, like that, then play the shift. And if you look at the outfield, they're playing straight away. So fly balls, obviously they're playing neutral. Obviously balls on the ground are to the right side of the field.
It's something that I see occasionally calling ABL games. I've seen probably as much in the last 24 hours as I've seen. Probably see a specific tactic that Brisbane have come with for this weekend to try out and see what happens.
So this is a beautiful thing about this event, particularly with guys that beat you in the past, and you're talking about two guys that beat the organization in the past. You can try different things and kind of gauge, because then once again, everyone is taking notes and writing books. Did he make the adjustment? Yes, he did. Did we win the battle? No, we didn't. So it allows you to work out what your future plans against some of the athletes are only going to get better as they progress.
And I would suggest, as Atherton, a 0-2 pitch, gets the comeback at just past him. Should be a routine ground ball to shortstop.
Well, to third. So
yes.
That's Nielsen.
That got me.
So Nielsen's third baseman playing in the second base
exactly.
hole.
No, you got me.
And
that's fine.
Mitch Nielsen was playing short right, and the shortstop was playing behind the second base. So, so that's Jacob Nielsen, who's the third baseman, playing probably double play depth on the second base side. It's like I said, but it worked. So once again, everything you tick the box.
You reckon next time they face Mitch in another game, whenever that may be, that'll be on for sure and certain. And I was only explaining to a young lady who was with me last night on Giants Radio, Adrian Pickles, that one of the great things about calling baseball is you can set up a diamond and the guys stay there. Unlike footy, where they just move around all over the field. And of course today,
yeah, it is. And I tell you what, the people that have to probably deal with it the most, good play rate.
This one played to the hot corner. Third base. Jacob Nielsen in much more a traditional spot. Deals with that one as easy as he dealt with the earlier one. That's the Giants retired. We're through 3. It is the Giants leading 3-0. A wonderful night in Adelaide. We'll be back after the break.
We're getting to know Darcy Berry, new Adelaide Giant. Darcy, thanks for coming on a walk in the indoor facility with me.
Oh, good. Thanks for having me.
When did you start playing baseball?
Started playing at West Torrens as a little peewee sort of wedgie when I was about 7 years old. Playing T-ball or West Torrens and growing up there.
Do you remember that first moment you fell in love with the game? You knew this is it.
Yeah, I mean, growing up it was always a decision between soccer or baseball because those were my main two passions. And then I probably decided when I was about 14 that I actually wanted to play baseball as a career and followed on.
Did you used to go to the Bite Giants games growing up?
Yeah, always out there at Norwood at local games, chasing foul balls and always getting those little helmets as the ice cream cones.
Yeah, I remember you've been a junior member for a while before coming to the games.
Yeah.
What about some of your favorite players growing up? Idols in South Australia?
Yeah, idols was always. I always had three. It was always Nate Van der Linden, Mason Pickard, and Curtis Mead.
And what do you reckon? Like, what does it mean to you knowing that like you got to wear that Giants jersey before and you get to wear it on the weekend again? Like, what did that mean to you to put on that Adelaide jersey?
It meant so much to me. Always growing up and being like the biggest fan of the Giants, and then finally getting to play for them is a huge privilege.
All right, what kind of music do you like? What was your most Spotify Wrapped? What was your most listened to song?
I think it was FN by Lil TJ.
And if you could go to any sporting event ever right now, can't say baseball or Giants, it could be a baseball game, but not a Giants game. If you could go to any sporting event in the world right now, what would it be? You can go back in time.
Yeah, we'll probably have to go back to see Babe Ruth play, I reckon.
You go back to see Babe Ruth play?
Probably, yeah.
Outside of baseball, favorite sports team?
Hawthorn, AFL.
Hawthorn, AFL. Darcy Berry, new member of the Giants, Adelaide kid, come see him play.
To the fourth inning we go. Shadow starting to reach across Bennett Field here at West Beach. Spectacular sunset not too far away. And a baseball game, suffice to say, I reckon it's just, can the Bandits find some offense? One hit so far. They had 3 hits in the earlier game. And from memory, 5 hits last night. So Kyle Pike playing first base tonight. It's out the plate, 2-1 count. Riley Aitman working into his second innings with just 9 pitches in his first innings. I think didn't play last year. Pike pops that up towards right field, eminently playable. And in the end, fairly easy work for Brodie Ariola, who's in right field tonight. Were you ever the K-man, Goms? Were you the designated chicken dance man if he struck out free beer?
I'll make sure I've got the right, yep.
Were you ever the K-man? Ever pick on you in that way?
A lot of times. Yeah, I was I'll probably say high ratio strikeouts in my playing career. So I was a high risk, high return type of guy. So yes, I don't know if I actually sold any more beverages, because I know in the old days they used to have the K-man and it was half price drinks, and that was always a treat. And like I said, I think now with responsible drinking,
it's some sort of special, but not quite the half
correct.
price.
But it is interesting. I mean, the fans embrace it because they love the whole. And trust me, as a player, the last thing you want to hear is that you're the designated K-man, and because the crowd gets more and more interest. I think Nuttsy's the K-man today, and
I reckon the Aces have got it down right. The Melbourne Aces have free popcorn or free ice cream.
Well, and like I said, those are great initiatives and great fan engagement opportunities.
And great work, good coverage by Bull.
Making sure that was the third baseman, because
I'm just checking.
Just double check that.
Because I reckon they played a bit of, I don't know, who knows.
Yeah, they didn't play the power shift as the Bandits.
Just a slight power shift. But
so we get a chance to see the replay right there. And good location right there.
Yeah.
Just elevated the fastball up and let's just tidy him up. But look how much ground your third baseman's covered. He's really played almost shortstop. So what should be a very easy play for third baseman, that's a difficult and tough play, and he's made it look easy.
Well, the way the wind was blowing, that would also have been coming back at him just a little bit.
And that's what's difficult is that whole judging of, how far is that going to be out, and all of a sudden it's coming back to you.
Yeah, they did that well. He did struggle with one in the second game. That was a Giants error, but nothing wrong with that. And you're right, pop up to the third baseman. It's good. So the Giants are responding shift with shift. Now it's a traditional setting. For the shot to left, that was Jacob Nielsen. And again, I'll tell you what, Riley Aitman, he doesn't waste time.
No,
not a strikeout in there, but he's getting them to hit and hit to fielders.
Well, and that's the thing that's impressive with him. He's throwing a lot of strikes, and he just faced a former major leaguer, and he showed no intimidation or fear. Once again, three up, 3 down. Efficiencies for the Giants. Pitchers have been outstanding. Like I said, it's a great opportunity to give these young men an opportunity. and that really helps their development, because he'll go to spring training with a lot more confidence than if he didn't get the opportunity to pitch in these showcases.
So Tim Atherton, 59 pitches after 3 innings. So what he went 33 in the first, 26 over the last 2, which is average 13. We're back into some sort of a sync. Of course, he is forced possibly to go a fair distance. Sam Holland, the sole player who hasn't pitched, and Holland would normally go 2-3 at a max. Sammy Holland?
Well, Sammy started in Brisbane against Team Australia, so he has ability. He's versatile. On Team Australia, he's a guy that comes out of the pen. He might give you 2 or 3. Yeah. David doesn't like to give at the international level too many looks. He's not a velo guy, but he uses a lot of deception in his arm slot. So, but in this game, he'll probably stretch Atho a little bit more to get more workload, because it's his 3rd or 4th start of this showcase. Yep. And then probably let Sammy finish it up and get his 2, and that'll call it a weekend. Call it a weekend indeed. And this is going to be a rare one, because usually a series, I know that Brisbane often doesn't have a Sunday game. I think last season you went more with Thursdays and so forth. Yeah, well, look, that's all driven by council. We've got to put in, because we're in a residential area, so we've got to meet our compliancy requirements at the council level. So we're only allowed a certain amount of Thursdays and a certain amount of Sundays, and so we use those strategically of what we think we're going to have the highest draw. And you've also got Windsor Royals that use the field as well, that might play a game every so often. Correct, and that can be not difficult, but like anything, it's challenging, because that means a lot more field usage, a lot more field maintenance, and a lot more planning as far as schedule planning. So, but Windsor has been a fantastic committee and organization to work with. Huge history. And like I said, there's so much history, and we call it's Vidicon Stadium now, but there's so much history at the facility that, it's great that all the investment's still staying in the sport. So it's going to be 6, 7, 8 for the Giants. Max Stagg, Brody Ariola, Brock Wells coming up. All the action in the first. Since then, the pitchers have done all right. And that's usually if Atho does get hurt, and I did mention this, I think in game 1, he's a guy that builds momentum as the game progresses. You could tell there was a little bit of a, when you're dancing with a partner for the first time, dancing with a new catcher, that was a little bit of an adjustment, but they've made their adjustments. But it's like I said, this is why it's so great. You've got a young up-and-coming backstop, and you've got, current Team Australia right there. Good pitch, good location. And that is strikeout number 7. I'm keeping count, because we have what? That's the 10th out, 7 by strikeouts. That's a normal book for Adelaide. That's par for the course. You see this. And I was just thinking that with no Sunday game tomorrow, because normally you travel, you play Sunday, you basically leave here, go to the airport and head back. Saturday night in town. Yeah, look, the guys they're staying at the Stanford in town, which they love. I don't know what I'll fly on a different flight. I think I've got a 10 o'clock, so mine's a little bit easier in the morning. But most of the guys some of the guys might even get back in time to play club ball and might get back into their club. And then some can just have a break before they go back to work on the Monday. So I personally like the schedule, particularly with, it takes a little bit of pressure off the athletes as well. From a commentator who has a day job and a wife and a couple of kids, the work, call a game Thursday night, go to work, call a game Friday night, call 2 on Saturday, call a game on Sunday, get home 5 o'clock and ready to go for work on Monday. It's an intense time. It is. And like I said, that we can't acknowledge the support of so many people behind the scenes that make it all happen. And, personal sacrifices, family sacrifices like that. Acknowledge all the wives of all us, And, for the players, you mentioned before with the Futures League, one of the issues is you're introducing a new comp. There's value in it. It's a step up. How is that balance between I'm playing club ball, I'm in the Bandits squad, I got this thing on Tuesday or Wednesday night. So many hours in the day, how much baseball can you actually fit in? Well, and that's the thing, and that's what's trying to find the balance. And that's what's so good, and particularly in Queensland now, the relationship between the current commissioners and the board and baseball and the Bandits and Mark Reedy could pitch good location for another punch out, number 8. But that's so imperative, because then when you have that open collaboration and the discussions, then they can look at all the things that are both positive and negative, and then make those adjustments so that way they can find that recipe for success. One, are we overtaxing athletes, or are they undercooked and they're not ready to make that jump into a collegiate or a pro ball situation if they get the opportunity?
I've been keen over my time calling this sport to introduce a couple of new words to the language. And one of those is what happens if you get a strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. Now you have to be a little bit careful with the letters and how you order that. It's called strike out the side.
Yep.
And I think that's a little bit too long.
Yep.
So I've done a bit of a test. I called this, if Atherton can get a strikeout here, no one gets on, nothing but strikeouts, it's a kinning. I share it with everybody.
Are you going to patent that?
I want to, well, no, free. Don't charge.
No charge.
I just want to see it take off.
You just want to trademark it.
I
And
do.
everyone can use it. So, you know what? Everything always said repetitive language, and everyone starts using it. That's the only way. Ooh,
That's
and
it.
you might get
Nicely
your wish.
done. I'll tell you what, he's a strike away from the kinning.
Yep.
I can almost hear the Bandits fans in the background chanting, kinning, 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 come on. He actually got to call the Junior League, he got to call an immaculate inning. That was pretty special. He's got one more strike, and he's got it too.
What did he
Tim
get?
Atherton, you have achieved so much, you now have a kinning to add to the ledger. That'll do it for the Giants in the fourth. They retain their 3-0 lead. Much more of that coming up after the break.
We're getting to know Darcy Berry, new Adelaide Giant. Darcy, thanks for coming on a walk in the indoor facility with me.
Oh, good. Thanks for having me.
When did you start playing baseball?
Whip me up something good, J-Mac. Let's go. Bigsy.
You can have-
Bigsy tortilla. Oh, you need a bit of foil, mate. Come on. There you go. Oh.
Crispy. That's hot.
You bet it straight away. I
This
want
one?
some rice first, mate.
Oh yeah. I'll give you a Bigsy.
Best believe I'm looking for guac and sour cream. Tell you what, oh, he's got the lettuce in the sour cream.
Cross-contamination
no.
there.
There's no way you'll
You deal with this?
Yeah, every bit of it. No lime for me.
No lime?
No, that one. Yeah, that looks good. What's it say?
Don't know.
We can't read. There's Buckley's you're doing that.
Stiff chance here.
You should be touching the meat first, not the wrap.
Uh-oh. Very crispy.
Oh, I so won this.
There you go, mate.
Really need the plate. Not bad. Stick together. Then I'll pick it up.
Good luck, mate.
Oh, she's a bigsy. It's a pretty thick quesadilla. J-Mac made it. 8 out of 10. Good job, mate.
And you heard Eric Bolinar on the PA introducing a new pitcher, AJ Verestigi. I'm glad Eric had a crack at the name first. I got something to follow now without getting in trouble. Another beautiful sunset. That's the great thing about baseball by the beach. About to set over the St. Vincent's Golf, and a good crowd in. Starts to cool down about 22 degrees, and they're enjoying the baseball. We had a long first inning on both counts. The Giants getting 3, having 8 of the 9 get up to the plate. Since then, it's been, well, whoever's been on the mound's done pretty well, including Tim Atherton coming off a kinning. 9 strikeouts in 4 innings. So how do you see this one playing out from here as we head into the 5th of a 7 innings game?
Well, this is the business end now. We're in a 7-inning ball game. We're in the 5th. So you talk about, Tyson Moore leading off for the Bandits. He's really got to find a way to spark this organization and at least put a number on the board, at least get him back in. I don't know how much more Athel has got in the tank. He might have one more, but David may go ahead and hit the button and potentially bring in Holland.
Straight to Brockwell's at second. 1 pitch, 1 away. Atherton's pitch count at the moment is at 71. Just to give you the line on both Jack O'Loughlin, Riley Aitman. O'Loughlin, 2 innings, 34 pitches. The first went quite a while. 1 hit, 3 strikeouts and 1 walk. Riley Aitman, 2 innings, and that's it. No hits, no nothing else.
No, he was impressive. And once again, wasn't overpowering by any means. He stayed within himself and utilized his defense. But like I said, he had to get through the tough part of the order, and he did an outstanding job for the Giants.
So for a man I'm going to just call AJ. First time in Giants colours. He's actually a former minor league player with the Tigers of Detroit, and he's been in Adelaide the last 4 summers playing local club ball for, take a breath, the Golden Grove Central Districts Dodgers. GGCD for short. He elicits a pop-up there, and nicely taken by Max Stagan left. 2 up, 2 down for AJ.
Well, the big thing, if you look at the line, the big line is Bandits only have mustered 1 hit. Giants only have 3.
Yeah.
So we did say it was going to be a pitcher's duel, and it has been when you look at the line score for hits. You know, it's not a lot of hits, but Giants able to manufacture the 3 runs.
3 hits with a couple of walks. And there was a couple of defensive lapses in there as well from memory. That was just an hour ago. Again, I'll tell you what, mate, we should send this tape of this series to Major League Baseball and say this is how you can get games to go shorter.
Well, it's been interesting, but, you know, they have implemented clocks in the minor league systems, and they've seen some of the efficiencies. As a matter of fact, it didn't actually hurt pitching. Pitching numbers didn't go up because they felt rushed. But 7-inning ball games, you know, under 2 hours. Tell you what, from when you look at a TV production perspective, it's good content when you can keep a game within 2 hours or under 3.
Just ask the Auckland Tuatara as Lem's put that into play, and he's on.
So in the lineup, in the book tomorrow, it's going to be a rocket down the left field line for a single. Like I said, put the ball in play, played a slight shift, and just able to leg that out. That's just good placement. Keep the inning alive.
I'm hoping it might spin left out. Never happened.
No.
Nicely done. That's that's a sandwich drop shot almost with a bounce in play.
That's
it.
it.
It hit the turf and just plain stopped. So is this the chance for Brisbane? It's got 2 out in the 5th. Ground now completely covered in shadow. Light starting to take effect. High and inside 1-1. The sprinklers of the golf course to the south there are underway. We always hope that the management here remember that there's a game on tonight and haven't set the sprinklers for 8:30.
Good little breaking ball by the arm on the mound. You can see where he's got some pro ball experience. He's got command of the 2 pitches and been effective with a quick 1-2.
Just got to do a little bit of maintenance. where can you hide where there's cameras at every angle?
Is that a public course behind this, or is it private?
That would be a public course, I'm pretty sure. It's the bouncing ball.
Good play.
Nice pickup. I thought, and that's the ball again. I thought with no Curtis Mead at third, that would be a weak spot for the Giants this summer. It's been anything but. Nicely done as we got the diamond dash. And love this. The big kids, little kids. I can remember taking my kids to the baseball back in the Norwood days, and they got into it and loved it.
There's obviously no age limit. I see a couple of big boys running across the diamond, but great initiative and great. Could see it play again. Third baseman came up on him, but just stayed through it. And then there's the last. They're still coming across.
I always wonder why they have the small ones at the back.
I think it's safer.
It's safe. They don't get run over in the rush.
Nobody gets run over. And a lot of times, I had a young one that did it as well. They're apprehensive because it's daunting with all the big bodies. So a lot of times they like to trail where it's safer. And then mom or dad usually carries them across the diamond to finish it up.
It's almost like, and I love the term, the fun runs.
No, it is.
Or the marathons. You put the fast people at the front.
That's right.
And the ones that are there to socialise and have fancy dress at the back.
That's right.
And everybody's happy.
Just on cue, there's a pitching change for the Bandits.
Yeah, I know that bit. So this is it. Sammy Holland, the last Bandit pitcher to have a hurl, so to speak. And he's going to start at the top of the Giants order. 1, 2, 3. No, he's not. I'm always missing. I'm getting caught each time. Brock Wells was batting 9 in the previous game, so I think he's the last. But no, that's Darcy. Barry, who's next up. Thank you, David. Yes, you're quite correct. Just giving one of our guys palmitation. Oh, sorry, Sam Holland, number 40, is the pitcher. So Sam Holland, 7 seasons. Of course, Team Australia reliever, as you mentioned. Also played in Germany.
Yeah, he's also product of the San Diego Padres and the California Angels organizations. Did pitch at big league camp with the Angels, so he had a chance to pitch at a big stage, you know, and against major league players. So, and obviously he's had a lot of success for Team Australia in Japan. And like I said, talk about one of the leaders now and progressed through the program, and now he's one of the clubhouse leaders for this organization.
From the Redcliffe Club from memory, Partington, Barry, do it again. Quick hit to short and keeps this game just rolling.
And once again, what Sammy gives you is that arm slot. He does induce a lot of ground balls. Good job by Smith getting around it. It looks like a first base change as well. And that's what I say. Sammy is going to really give you a really tough arm angle. He's going to compete. Nothing straight. So he's either into the righties or away. And then obviously a lot of sinker type action to lefties as well.
We'll check out that first base shortly. I'll have to go and put a light switch on in a sec. As this is Partington there who steps up.
And I can't tell if 28 at first.
28. Oh, that is Pike.
Yep. So Pike's gone from third in game 1, and now he's shifted over to first base.
There's Jacob Nielsen came back in, having, I think, set game 2 out. So everyone's had their chance to have a role. Haven't had a lot of in-game substitutions. In fact, I don't think we've had a single one so far. One things I do enjoy calling, and you mentioned before you called a little bit of the Little League at Lismore, are those junior league series where the kids play. Because it's baseball, a little bit more at its rawest, where the kids are just out there having fun and enjoying the game. But if you have any practice keeping track of substitutions, boy, oh boy, oh boy, they come in, they go out, and then they come back.
Yeah, no, it's tough. And actually managing at the Little League level might be the toughest thing in baseball, because you've got pitch counts, and if he's thrown over a certain amount, he can't throw for 2 days. And if he's thrown under, but like I said, it's the kids enjoy it. It's a great environment. And like I said, for me, I've now watched and I've called games at the Little League national level, and now seen those same athletes competing at the ABL level and for Team Australia.
Exactly. So, Brody Areola for mine
100%.
was one.
And that's what it's about. It's about how do we create the best pathway for these athletes to have success.
Yeah. Paddington puts that to Mitch Nielsen. That throws wayward off the bag and safe. So Partington is leading, you could say, a charmed life in many ways.
And that's something that it's really hard to defend. And one thing is, like, hits the ball hard to second base when Mitch comes up with it cleanly, but really just didn't finish the play with the throw. But also speed plays a factor. He's a plus runner, puts a little bit more pressure on you defensively. Now we go back into the power shift where Jacob Nielsen's actually playing second base. Shortstop's probably playing double play depth, and Mitch Nielsen now playing a short right field.
See, Wingrove did get one down left field. This time he tries to find the gap, hits it straight to my silly mid-right. He gets the throw, and everyone sort of had to work out, well, hang on, I'm here. What base am I supposed to be covering?
Well, that's where speed comes in, because now when you play the shift, and good job by the shortstop who's addressed the missing.
So that has to be a ground out to second base.
That's actually
we're scoring that.
Yeah, so that's to Mitch Nielsen, not Jacob Nielsen, for out number 2.
I'm glad I'm so glad you are with me tonight, because some of this, I just haven't seen this many shifts. It's almost like this is the traditional setting.
Well, it is, and if you look at MLB baseball, it's a lot of power shifts now,
Yep.
and a lot more, and obviously the data supports everything.
Oh, in many ways, this will be great for a guy like Rickson Wingrove to face that at this level, because as he goes through his journey in the States, he's going to face it there.
Yeah, and look, not just that, but different arms. Specialized guys that specialize getting left-handers hitters out, and as you go up the food chain, and I call it the food chain because it's A-ball to AAA to get to the big leagues, the talent pool gets higher, and the mental aspect of the game gets a lot more challenging as well.
So we've got Jack Partington at second. We've got 2 out. Bottom of the 5th. Can Adelaide convert another 2 out scoring opportunity? It's a 2-1 count in favour of Mercado right now. Eric's trying to get the crowd going.
Tell you what, I think you didn't give Eric enough titles. He is a man of many hats.
He is.
But like I said, such a valuable asset to this organization, just being that versatile.
Yep.
And that engaged in the sport. And I don't think people realize how much, and you do, is how much work and time goes into the preparations to make sure you execute well.
Yep.
And you guys have done a great job.
And his other one is he's in charge of the volunteer group here now. There is a volunteer manager, but they work in tandem.
And then that's the thing, where when people build rapport with people and they trust him, which they do, and obviously Davo trusts Eric, and the people trust Davo and Eric. And I can tell you, I've been coming here for 10 years, and a lot of your volunteer bases from year 1.
Yeah.
And they still have the same smile and passion for the game as they did in year 1 as they do in year 11.
Yeah.
Or 12, excuse me.
So full count with 2 out, and we had a few playoff games, so I wasn't there to commentary-wise, so got to be a volley, as they call them.
Well,
put on the red shirt rather than the blue one, and that was great fun.
And that's what it said. You've worn many hats just to support the organization, and that's all the people behind the scenes that make this game so great and allow these athletes to be able to put on the show that they do for us.
Yeah. There certainly is a lot unseen. In some ways, we're the lucky ones that people hear our voices, therefore we have a profile. There's a lot that I can't say do more work than you, because I don't think that's correct, but certainly do a lot more work than myself.
Well,
that never get the kudos.
Everyone's important, and I think that's the key, is every component within the model is important. 2
out, payoff pitch, Mercado flies to left. It's going to just be caught at the edge of the warning track. As I said, I don't think anything's going to get out that side of the fence tonight. That retires the Giants at the end of the 5th. Still a 3-run lead as we head to the final 2 innings of tonight's contest.
I'm Jack Partington, play for Henley and Grange Baseball Club and play out for...
I'm Geordie Gross and I'm a starting pitcher for the Henley and Grange Baseball Club.
Just been playing a lot of baseball, went over to college for 2 years, had a good time there, came back, moved to Henley and Grange with Geordie. We wanted to play together, so we played together, been playing Super League, so it's a lot of baseball, been really fun. And I describe my player as very energetic, just want to be out there, just want to win. Not a big statistic guy, we just want to win the game, do whatever it takes to win the games. And
the last 5 years, I've been at Henley and Grange for the last 3 years, and before that I was out at Woodville Baseball Club and just chipping away at it. And now I'm looking at Henley and Grange to take on a flag, hopefully. Working hard, I guess, over the last 3 to 4 years. A lot of people out there helped me over the years, with like Josh Tolles and the Troy Scobles and the Wally Marks, and just taking as much information as I can in and try and better myself out of it.
It's big being around people you love playing with, and it's really fun being around all the guys, and being around a good culture makes a huge difference with how you're playing. We try and put in work most days. We try and get to the gym most days, try and swing as much as we can, keep that arm active.
For me, it's normally in the pre-seasons. I really like to knuckle down and really work hard, and I was very fortunate this off-season to work with Josh Spence and with my craft a bit. And
yeah, always been a fan. It means a lot. Yeah, it's really exciting. It's just, we just want to play the highest competition possible, and to play for your own hometown, is amazing. So
Oh, I'm absolutely stoked. Ever since I was a kid, I'd go out to the Norwood games and, always dreamed to be out there and playing. And so now that I can put the uniform on, I'm very lucky.
And welcome back. We have a new pitcher. Jaden Bastow is our new pitcher, number 18. Always fun just to get that side angle of the new guys. He'll get his first outing in Adelaide. And look, take a picture, put it on a postcard. How beautiful is that?
Yeah, it's stunning. And like I said, the weather has been absolutely magic this weekend. And once again, acknowledge the organization. They've hosted a great event, as they always do. And a credit to the organization and what they do, not just for the fans, but for the visiting organizations as well.
Well, as you said, collaboration's important. And Bastow from New South Wales has had some college experience. 4 innings pitched so far this summer, given up the 1 hit. He's walked 3 and 6 strikeouts, yet to record an ERA. Well, sorry, his ERA is 0 because he has got the out. So, yes, he does have one. And he'd like to keep it there, wouldn't he?
Absolutely. And like I said, it's been a good contest. There's still 2 innings to go. Yep. Game 1 was a great game. And obviously Giants came up the victors. Once again, the shift in play. They're actually shortstop is playing on the second base side, and the third baseman is playing short. So I think it's a one-upsman by the manager.
It is, isn't it? It is indeed. Andrew Campbell is at the plate.
Ooh.
So at the moment, the Giants have out-hit the Bandits, 3 hits to 2. Bandits have had an error. The Giants got all theirs in a clump in the first. And that's been it for the scoring. 0-2 count, inside, 2 inside, 1 and 2. For the Giants next week, back to Melbourne, take on the Aces. As Campbell bounces that, and our third baseman couldn't quite grab it in time. We got a man on.
And once again, that's good job by Soup right there with the shift, and just got a pitch on the outer half and able just to find that chink in the armor really on the defense, because they're playing to the percentages. He's just hit against the percentages. So, and that's what hitters will probably start doing, is particularly with 2 strikes. I think you got to have 2 approaches: your aggressive approach and then your 2-strike approach, and that's a good 2-strike approach by Campbell.
Mitch Nielsen now comes to the plate, and it was an interesting decision by Bull not to attempt the put out. It all looked like he was going to throw, but he looked up and saw there was not an out to be had, and rather than risk a pressured wayward throw, and we've seen a few of those, just say, well, okay, you got first, let's make sure you don't get to second.
And that's what's so important for young players is, finishing the play, as I say, is making sure you make the good throw and you keep the runner off second base. The game changes. Double play stays in order here. You don't have Soupy runs fairly well. Mitch is in a plus runner, so you at least keep a double play in order.
So 1 for 9 thus far this series. That was lost in the dirt, and it will be an easy advancement to second for Campbell. So is this the Bandits' opportunity? They've got 1 man in scoring position. They've got 3 runs to make up and 6 outs to do it. And I guess we don't really have in this series, that setup where we have this classic closer who's going to come in and you really feel pressure to get your runs an inning before the last. But the opportunities come few and far between, and here's one for Brisbane. 2-1.
That was a big acquisition by the Giants. I think it was last year with Todd Van Stensel.
Yes.
And he's actually signed in a contract in Mexico, and, and I haven't seen his numbers, but I've watched him progress. He's been always been a hard thrower. He's a 95 to 97 type guy, but just starting to find, and hone in on his craft.
Oh, that was foul. Oh, and it collects first base umpire Andrew Bell. Anyway.
They don't like the airtime, but that as they say, that's hit on the button right at him and able to not dodge that one.
Everyone's smiling. That's what we like to see.
Yeah. And like I said, they've, once again, the boys in blue, they cop a bit at times, but the reality is that they're very professional in what they do, and they're out there, like you said, they don't want to be seen.
Yep.
Just do a good job.
Yeah, they've had a few interesting calls to make, especially last night, but there hasn't been, and again, is it the pressure stakes? We have not seen a manager blow up. No manager running out for a conference at all. Everyone's pretty happy. There's a walk, and the opportunity for the Bandits builds.
And like I said, this is what's so good about it. And there's still a level of competition, but you're right. They're a little bit more relaxed in their approach, just because they understand the importance of everything else that's involved, not just the shield, but the stakeholder engagement.
Well, Kyle Pike is 2 seasons, 31 games at the Trojan of Northern Iowa Community College, hit 1 home run, and he wanted to double that tally right there and tie this ball game, but missed everything. So none out. Now, the stats would say that you really should score at least 1 run when you got 2 on and none out. And at the moment, Basto is still trying to settle down 1-1. A single to Campbell, a walk to Mitch Nielsen. How many Nielsens are there, by the way? It's a bit like it's the Kennellys out west and the Nielsens in Queensland, isn't it?
It is. And they're all baseball family, and they all, long history. I mean, David's dad coached for a number of years, and all his brothers played, and obviously David's the most recognized with what he achieved, but all his brothers were very accomplished players in their day.
1-2 count. Fouled away again.
And David was the youngest of all the brothers.
Okay.
So he was as they would say, the runt, but obviously with a couple of arms as pitchers, so he had was challenged by the older brothers. But like I said, they're a great baseball family. They've been involved with Baseball Queensland for forever, and there's so much history there. Pioneered a lot of what's there today, and obviously now David continues to pioneer territories, not just in Queensland, but now leading Team Australia.
Yeah. I mean, you look, I was explaining to my colleague again yesterday, you talk about the 36 that have played for Australia, and whilst Dave never got a ring because he got the club that I support, the mighty Milwaukee Brewers, in terms of what achieved at that level and then what they've brought back, Graham Lloyd is probably the only one that I can sort of say is in the same ballpark.
Well, look, David also first to play in the All-Star game, and he's a silver medalist as well. Led as a captain. So, and like I said, the ring is in some people's world, it's the apex. And I was fortunate enough to play with Graham, and he was on the Team Australia team in 2004 when we won in Greece. And I say that we won because it was a silver medal and we were competing for gold. But
for the first time this weekend, Tank Adamson hits the diamond. It's loaded Bandits with none out. That's where it might be a friendly, but it's not a friendly. So, Tank still wants to win this ball game, and that's where normally if it was development, you go, no, we'll go with it. But no, he's going to make a pitching change, and he said, especially against the tough part of the lineup for the Bandits. Well, that's right. This is the meat of it. Just make sure I've got my players in the right spot. So I've got Pike at first. He was the last one there. Mitch Nielsen at second. Andrew Campbell at third. Lutz of all the players. That's the one you want. That's the one. If you were picking, what Bandit do I want to be at the plate for this moment? That's the one you want. That's the one you want, yeah. So how are the Giants going to respond here? Let's have a look. And they bring in, now it's Nathan van der Linden, number 7. I was trying to pick who the pitcher was before, and I was just a tiny bit ahead of myself. So a chance for everyone to regroup, but this is a moment in this ball game. And there's none out. That's the thing. It's loaded bases, none out. A double play won't get the Giants out of trouble just yet. The Bandits have surely got a score here. Something.
That's what manager David Nielsen wants, and obviously Lutzy would love to square something up in the gap and at least put a couple on the board and advance the runner to third, and then just takes a ground ball, and we got a tie ball game. But like I said, this is why it's fun, you know, and you know, we're still competing. The two managers are still going head to head, but at the same time, there's so much other things that are happening in the background in far as future planning, and the things that we don't see is the excitement for some of these athletes that, you know, are reinvigorated and inspired to continue to progress as an athlete on the baseball field.
Nathan Valen, he's always around the place. I think I've called him just about every season. Never been a solid starting role, hitting or pitching, but it'll just bob up from time to time. 2 2/3 innings pitched this summer, 1 earned run, 1 walk, yet to pitch a strikeout. He wants to induce a ground ball here.
And once again, Giants have playing a mini shift with the shortstop playing on the second base side and a big hole to short.
And he's playing. That's a fair way up too. Here's a ball.
And you can see, you know, Lutz is very aggressive, particularly early in the count. And, you know, if he gets something, he can drive. And then obviously he shortens up with 2 strikes and makes the adjustments to the pitcher.
This sum up, 1 home run, 2 RBI. He's 1 for 9 in Adelaide thus far. So by Lutz's standards, he's due. He put one 318 feet to a 320 fence. First up, fouled again.
And this is now where the adjustment comes in, 2-strike approach, and Lutz will now re-change his game plan from being aggressive now to try to stay inside a baseball and not put it in play. If he can manage to even hit a 10 hopper to the shortstop, he drives in 2.
Are you looking to exchange a run for an out? As that one is hit hard to right. Now the right fielder is going to come in, Ariola. We're going to tag up at third, and that's going to be the Bandits on the board. Campbell has scored 1 out. And I was just going to ask you, would you trade an out for a run at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what you want to do. Like, once you got a breaking ball up in the zone, able to drive to right field, that does advance the runner. Mitch wasn't able to tag up, which ideal if he could have, then you've got first and third and 1 out.
Yeah.
Double play still in order, so now it's going to take at least a base hit through the infield to drive in the second run.
And the base hit, if it is a base hit, most likely will score 1. It would take quite a hit to score 2 to tie it up. So the potential tying run sits on first base, and the potential leading run in Jacob Nielsen is at the plate. And it's Nielsen ahead 1-0 in the count. This is a swing, and we're tied at 1 apiece.
So Jacob's the son of David Nielsen?
Now I'm glad you can family tree. Here we go.
Mitch is obviously nephew.
Yep.
Dan's also a nephew, but from another brother. And then Eli
Of the
Nielsen.
same mother? No, that's sorry.
Eli Nielsen is the bat boy who's the son of David as well.
I was going to wonder if there are any other Nielsens, and Eli's here, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
I saw him walking across.
Eli made his first road trip, and I love seeing that, you know, because he got in the van with his dad, and I said, "This is your first roadie?" And he goes, "That's my first roadie." And so he's got the whole travel experience. So I think he's really loved it.
Fantastic. So we'll probably be calling Nielsen's for another 20 years, at least. We might be long gone by then, but the Nielsen name will stick around.
No, it will, definitely.
Big pitch here, 3-1 count, just the 1 out. Double play is in play. But there's a walk, and we've got loaded Bandits once more.
Now it gets interesting now because Tyson is a plus runner, and you don't have plus speed on the bases, so it's going to, but hopefully he can stay out of double play. But once again, this is the business end of this game, now 3-1.
It's getting tense. Crowd a little bit silenced.
Little quiet at the moment.
Tyson Zamora, who is the hottest hitter coming into in Adelaide of this series. Has a wonderful opportunity right here if Valen will give him something to swing at.
Yeah, good job by catcher. That's Edwards, correct?
Yeah, Edwards,
good
yeah.
job. And that's the thing, little things right there that the Giants have done really well. Just keeping that ball in front. If it gets by him, that advances the runner, advances all the runners, and then all of a sudden you've got tying run at third. So really good job by Edwards just to keep it in front of him.
Any mistake by the Giants, it's going to be run or runs. That one is put up. That's going to find a gap. As good as Partington is, he won't catch that. Everyone advance a base. No one is out. Everybody's safe. We've got ourselves a one-run ball game with loaded Bandits and one away.
Yeah, really good job by Zamora. That ball's actually a good location down in the zone. What you want your pitcher to be down in the zone to induce the ground ball. And it's probably one of the only balls I haven't seen the center field run down.
Yeah.
But good job by the Bandits to now make it 3-2 here in the sixth.
So I'm not sure if that one was ever going to be catchable. Partington is a fair way up. Might be a little bit the horse bolted, I suspect, as Jay Myers now comes up.
Once again, another big opportunity for the Bandits. So defensively, Giants are playing double play depth with the exception of the first baseman. So he's going to let the ball take him where he needs to go.
Play down to Bull at third. We should get one out. Trying for the double play. It's too high. And I reckon the Bandits have a shot at the lead here, but they won't take the opportunity. So let me just check how many I've got left. That was just a one-run.
So good play by the third baseman, and he's done the right thing. He's come up, just got it over McCardle's head, and just a good backhand and good instinct to cover. Yeah. That's a force, and then the error at throw, which allows the runner to advance. But now we are tied 3-3 with a man on first and third, and 2 outs.
Yeah, I was waiting for a second Bandit to come round, but of course that was Jacob Nielsen who was forced out at third, hence why there wasn't a second run coming. 2 out, men on the corners. This is not over yet for Brisbane. John Lamb wants to get in on the party.
Ooh. And once again, we talked about this when the Bandits played Team Australia. It's putting these young athletes in situations, and you can't simulate these in batting practice. Yep. And so these are things that just help these athletes grow at the next level.
Yep. So they're playing at their level. Now they're playing at this level with pressure.
With pressure and a crowd. So you've got a very good turnout tonight, and all of a sudden there's music, there's energy, so it just kind of changes the game.
Yeah, there's nothing short of things to distract you if you let it.
Or even if, like, let's say I get you to call a game at the major league level, and you've called games here, it changes the whole complexity of how you even...
Oh, man. I don't know if that would be great or a living nightmare. That's bobbed up, and that's caught, so that'll do it, but not before the Bandits put 3 on. I was going to tell you the story about how I actually started calling footy, but we'll save that for another night, because we've got ourselves a ball game. We've got the 6th inning stretches due as we compress everything. Yeah, sometimes with those things, I think, Gons, you're better just to be thrown in without warning rather than have time to get too...
Yeah, don't want to overthink.
Too stressed about it.
Yeah, don't overthink the process. But like I said, everybody, from what we're doing today to, your camera team trying new things just to continue to put a better product out there for Australia. And that's what's so imperative, is that every day we should try to find ways to improve. And once again, to the credit to all the organizations this year, everyone's actually putting their best foot forward, to support the growth of this game.
So Sammy Holland went pretty clear. No hits, no runs.
Well, he's still in.
He's still in. He's hit.
He's in.
If he's not in, then the Bandits have got to find another arm. And although there is action in the bullpen.
There's action, but remember, we've got a tie ball game. So now, obviously David's going to keep one of his top relieves / starters and Team Australia representative on the bump, and we got a ball game.
I was just going back to last night. It was only 24 hours ago. I think Sam Beattie pitched 1 inning and Mitch Nielsen pitched 1 inning. So they're the two that have had the most rest. Obviously, Jeremy Atkinson is the starter. I can't see him doing a mark. Remember Mark Hamburger from the Aces when he came out?
Hamburger was unique.
He was something else, wasn't he?
He had very unique. But it actually, and I'm not saying this disrespectfully, it actually hurt him too, because when you go to the back end and the weather changes and it's now 38 and 40, and there's not as much gas in the tank. And that's one thing that can also hurt is, although the athlete wants to compete, it just means that, hey, they wouldn't have their let's say, full tank of gas as they normally would, and you're working on the reserves, and hopefully the adrenaline keeps you through. But that's what's good about the game. It challenges everybody at every level.
One of those things that, again, never saw before and probably will never see again, the way that he could just throw lots of pitches on multiple days. But it's with Sam Holland, who threw 15 pitches in the last inning. So you'd say he's still got a bit in the fuel tank. For the Giants, well, they're going to go 4, 5, 6, Mitch Edwards, Liam Bull, Max Stagg, barring substitutions. And I wonder if, because the rules here would be what's agreed to between the two organisations, I would assume.
Yeah, where they go into a tie, if they go into international tiebreak rules. And I did see Tank run over to the dugout and speak to David. So they've had, obviously, a discussion on how they would progress. Yeah. My assumption only, would be they would go to the international tie-breaking rules, just to make sure the fans got a complete game. And David probably, he knows if he's got 1 or 2 arms left to get him through, that normally if either team executes, there should be a decision within, ooh, that's behind him.
Yeah. Get a winner, but let's not take long about it.
Yeah, let's
So, the potential tie-breaking run, Mitch Edwards, lead-off man on. Liam Hall, who 3 for 7 this series, 1 run, 2 RBIs this weekend, and has done an absolute stellar job at third base, wherever that third base may be positioned around the diamond.
He's covered a lot of ground. Ooh.
Out away, getting some oohs from the crowd.
Well, it was a young boy just against the net, so the ball came, and I think he realized, wow, the ball gets on you fairly quickly. So
sure does.
Yeah, so get a chance to see the replay here, and there was a rock, and see that young man sitting there, and all the fans were like, "Woo!" So, yeah, it is that's the great experience of how close we are to the action.
Yeah. Bull to third, double play possible. Bull should beat out the throw, and he does in the end fairly easily. Got some wheels on him. So Edwards is retired. That's your first out for the Bandits.
Once again, good job by Nielsen to Nielsen. Tricky help right there, and able to come up. Good feed to second. Mitch isn't able to convert on the speedy runner.
I wonder how many times they've done that in the backyard. Just playing catch to each other.
That's it.
So Giants still have a threat. Now it's Max Bull at first, and they have 1 out. We're at the bottom of the 6th of a tied ball game. Holland finds the strike zone. Just the last vestiges of sunlight to our right. Now we've got lights taking their full effect. Ooh, that one hit the netting pole. Ricocheted onto the field of play. I reckon those poles are metallic, but it sounded like that had a little bit of padding attached to it, because it didn't ricochet hard, thankfully.
I think it just caught a portion of the netting, but they are metallic just because the load they take with the netting.
So 1-2 count on Bull now. Sorry, on Max Stagg. Sorry, Bull is on first. Brody Areola next up. Stag right back at Holland. Beautiful reactions. They're going to try for the double play again. That one was closer. I reckon one more time they might get there.
Yeah, look, it was on the transition, so ball hit sharply. Sammy had that little bit of a glitch right there, waiting for the shortstop to cover. And Max, plus runner, able to get down the line fairly well. So you see how he gets down the line fairly well, just unable to convert, bang, bang, stay out of the double play.
Not totally sure Holland was thinking double play at that point. I think he was thinking, thank God I managed to save myself and get the baseball. So Ariola comes to the plate. Again, the Giants have their third man on first base this inning. 2 out. 3-3 ball game. Ariola fouls back to the netting.
Once again, see that backdrop, the sun just going down in right field. Absolutely stunning evening tonight. And just, like I said,
another distraction. Beautiful sunset.
And we're fortunate. We get the best aspect of the game, and the athletes are down there doing their thing. But it is a gorgeous night here.
This is great. Saturday night baseball here in Adelaide. Fouled right back. I reckon that would have been one to stick the glove up for without the netting. Protect the laptops. 1-2 count, 2 out. Holland a strike away from sending it tied to the 7th. Ariola facing a traditional field, probably feeling a bit disrespected. Where's the shift for me?
That's it.
On the signal to wind up the pitch, fouled away again.
We got quite the battle here.
Yep. So I'm trying to remember in my head what qualifies for a quality at bat. I think, no, I'm not even going to guess. And I don't have the opportunity to Google it and cheat. But Ariola's providing one, but Holland has the final word. And that is, you're out of here, sunshine. Well, we've had everything in the last couple of days. We haven't had the grandstand finish until now. We head to the 7th of 7. As the sun sets, this game will crank up. We'll be back.
We're catching up with new Adelaide Giant Max Stagg. Max, how does that feel to say new Adelaide Giant Max Stagg?
It's a pretty good feeling, Eric. Yeah, can't really describe it in words at the moment. It's still pretty fresh in my mind, but yeah, it's a good feeling.
So when did you start playing baseball?
Started playing baseball when I was about 9 or 10. Got into it through playing T-ball through my school at Emmanuel College, and then transferred or moved to Glenelg Baseball Club to start my baseball career.
And I remember you hounding me to play some games on field over at the Bite games or the Giants games growing up. What was your best on-field game, do you think, playing?
At the Bite?
At the Bite games. Those games
on field. I reckon dizzy bat was my specialty, Eric, back then. Got around dizzy bat a bit. Yeah, it's good fun.
And do you have a moment that you knew you fell in love with baseball?
I wouldn't say quite a moment as such, but there was a point in my life definitely where, I knew baseball was for me, and I chose it over other sports such as footy.
How old were you when you knew that?
Probably 13, I'd say, 12 or 13, yeah. So after a couple of years of getting into the sport, found my feet a little bit, and yeah.
And do you have any favorite players growing up from the Adelaide Bite or Giants teams?
Not really from when I was younger, but probably now it'd probably be Curdy. He's just kind of opened my eyes a bit into the possibilities of, what can happen in the future.
And what does it mean to you, I guess, to put on the Adelaide Giants jersey?
Oh, it means a lot. Growing up, I guess, coming down to Norwood and West Beach and seeing.
Welcome back. Here we go, folks. Buckle up. Here with Phil Hurton and Paul Gonzalez calling baseball live from West Beach in Adelaide, and we are in the 7th innings, and there is nothing between these two sides. Giants won the first 2 games of the series. Van der Linden is back out there. So I have a feeling that I reckon the Giants have used all their pitches as well. So both teams on fumes, and the Bandits have got a man on. That is Luke Smith getting a Not sure if it's his first hit for this weekend. It's his second, and it's come at a very important stage in this ball game.
Yeah, big job right there. Got a pitch out over the plate, able to shoot that ball into right field, and now the Bandits will have top of the order at the plate. So if there is an opportunity for them to generate some offense, this is their opportunity.
And Leonard would have been hoping that that was the easy out. Not to be. Of course, this is the top of the 7th. Home team bats last. Anything the Bandits do, the Giants have a chance to reply. There's another back-to-back hits. And I'll tell you what, the wheels on Smith, he has got around to third. Did that well, and the Bandits are threatening once again. No one out. And the leading run, the potential leading run, 90 feet away.
Yeah, a really good job. I mean, Campbell obviously shoots the ball in the right field, but that's good baseball awareness through Smith, who's a young player, able to take advantage. Ball wasn't hit sharply, and the cardinal sin is making the first and third out at third, and he's able to leg that out and put himself in scoring position.
And of course, it's a 370-foot throw from where Ariola picked it up to third base. Hit it to the right part of the ballpark. We're back to Mitch Nielsen, who was walked just the last inning. A hit here, and the Bandits lead. Even a passed ball or a wild pitch could be all Brisbane need. And well done to Edwards to pick that one down low. 1-1 count. The Bandits offense has struggled through most of the series, but they found their mojo right at the end of it. Nielsen looks again. 3-1.
Yeah.
Boy.
So now he finds himself in a hitting count in a good situation. So he's technically in the driver's seat as a hitter.
Big gap between short and third. Not needed because it's a walk. And again, I reckon for the 4th or 5th time in the last couple of innings, the Bandits have loaded the bases and there was 0 in the out column. The stats will say, surely, Brisbane are going to score at least 1 run here. As Chris Adamson comes out. I wonder if we might just see Geordie Gross here, maybe.
Yeah, I think either two things right here. One, just settle his arm down.
Yeah.
Just make him aware of the situation. And B, if he does have, and we can't see in the bullpen at my location, it maybe allow him to get a little bit more hot if he does have some. But it looks like he's more just directing traffic. If balls hit, where we're going to go.
Yeah.
Just to make sure they're all on the same page.
It's not it's a conference. He's not coming out to talk specifically to Van der Linden.
No,
it was more a chat to the...
His body language was directing traffic. Ball hit to you, you're going to go home.
Yep.
Ball in the middle, we're going to turn 2. That way at least they know what they're going to do. So corners are pinching now. So you got first and third are pinching, which means anything hit at them, they'll probably go home to first. And the middle will probably try to convert 2 and stay out of the big inning.
This is where the game becomes as much mental as physical. Situational awareness. What do we do in this situation? First pitch misses. So we're back to Kyle Pike, who was walked and scored after a couple of flyouts to centre. Deep fly out to centre right now would be handy. That would be your lead for the Brisbane if it was deep enough.
Yeah, Smith runs well. So they do have a little bit of speed at third. So if something is hitting the outfield, he will challenge. But it'll need to be enough to convince third base coach Shane Watson to send him, because you've got another dangerous hitter on deck with Donald Lutz.
I was about to say, Lutzy's just sitting there warming up on deck, knowing that barring a triple play, he's going to get in at bat any second. 1-2 count. High, and we go 2-2. Smith at third, Campbell at second, Mitch Nielsen at first. Kyle Pike, a late replacement. Puts that to centre, but that's short. I don't think he's going to risk that. Wise man told me that with those sacrifice flies, you want to see the numbers on the centre fielder turn and go back to be confident. And Partington was coming straight at that ball, caught it easily, and I think that was a wise step not to take on the throw.
And once again, centre fielder did a good job getting behind the baseball to get momentum. Third base coach Shane Watson freezes Smith, and once again we talked about now you've got another dangerous hitter at the plate. You don't want to take the bat out of his hand if you can avoid it.
So one out, puts the double play in play. And the danger man Lutz wanted a grand salami sandwich right there. I think the last time the Bandits came to town from memory, it was that Brisbane hub with games at all kinds of crazy times on the clock. I reckon it was an afternoon encounter, and it was Wingrove hit a grand slam, and that was the last memory Brisbane had of their last trip. They'd like to leave on better circumstances this time. Van der Linden's been given the challenge. I keep thinking he's a young player, but he's very much the veteran now.
Yeah, they all started off young, and now they're all seasoned well.
That's it. Well, all the ones. Oh, that's almost intentional walk outside that one. 2-1.
And once again, now hitting count and puts Lutz in a good position. He doesn't want to go 3-1, so he'll probably try to go something off the plate.
Big gap between short and second. Short's other side of second base, and the Van der Linden's lost his radar, or his instructions have been.
No, it's a tough one. You're throwing to a former major league player, and there's still a bit of nerves, and you don't want to make a mistake. So sometimes that makes you be too fine, and here we go.
And the chicken dance. He's the K-man for this one. He launches to the scoreboard. Good night. That is 340 feet. And the grand salami sandwich for Donald Lutz is on its way. Wow, that is one of the biggest hits to right field I've seen in this ballpark.
He did square that up. We'll get a chance to see the replay. But once again, he got too fine 2-1, forced himself to make pitch he didn't want to make 3-1, and that's what happens with big-time hitters. They take advantage of mistakes. And
it clears the bases. Suddenly, well, at the start of the sixth, it was 3-0. Now it's 7-3.
So technically, you can say a former Giants player hit it. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Here you get a chance to see the replay. And you just see he centered the plate, and that's the no-go zone to big guys of his caliber, and does a pretty good job of.
Donald Lutz celebrates, as we've got another hit to first. Donald Lutz celebrates his 33rd birthday this time next week, 6th of February. I think it's Sunday week. And the Giants just gave him a wonderful early present.
It was funny, before game one, because his relationship now with the Giants organization playing over there in Melbourne, a lot of players just acknowledged him and greeted him. And I love that part, that whole relationship component of baseball, where you start building relationships off the field with opposing players and teams.
And certainly the spirit of the game, again, not as much pressure on the result, being played in great spirit. You often see that, Team Australia reps on different sides helps with that. And of course, you only got to look at the coaching staff with that.
Well, a number of my relationships here in Adelaide were developed through the ABL and through Team Australia. And so I acknowledge, how important it is, for us is to maintain our relationships in the game. And still very close to, obviously, Nathan Davidson. Craig Watts was another teammate of mine. I played against Fiji, Chalanor. I played against Andrew Scott, one of the best hitters of all time.
You're just rolling off South Australian baseball royalty in half of
you're
that.
right. And played, it's been great to have those relationships. Benny was a teammate of mine in 2000. Hutton was a teammate of ours in 2000. So, like I said, there's a lot of great history between us.
3-1 count. And there's your double play. A 3-3 double play. You see everything if you see this game long enough. All righty, well, that'll do it for the top of the 7th. The Bandits have set Adelaide a challenge. Donald Lutz a grand slam home run. The Giants have 3 outs to get those 4 runs back. And we'll see if it's... Sammy Holland's heading out there. He's given the job to close the door. But at least he goes out there with some run support. And, I mean, you'd probably enjoy this weekend. I know, every sport has politics and there's good things and there's bad things. But you would love this. A chance to come away with the team, have dinner with everybody, catch up with old mates, call a bit of baseball.
Well, it's been really positive. I mean, this is the relationship. We actually had a fairly good discussion this week and also planned for next year as well. We actually had a teleconference hookup with head office as well, and so it was great to at least have some internal discussions, planning discussions. But one of our shared partners is also Sombreros. It's Full Hammer, which is the apparel partner for both teams, and we went and met with the factory, which is based here in Adelaide, and David Nielsen and I attended that, and it was great just to see their premise here in Adelaide, and they support our program and growth of our game, and so it's so important for us to continue to build those relationships and grow the game.
Both teams certainly looking very switched. I do like that the Bandits have gone back to the blue and gold of your time. That would sound too derogatory there. Yeah. The blue and gold for me was the Bandits, as it was the old Brisbane, but it's the city of Brisbane.
Yeah, we brought back the pinstripe uniforms this year as well, so that was another initiative, Mark. I think even when we're playing in the gold and black and in that era, Mark actually brought back the retro uniform, and it was the pennies with the old school caps, and there was a bit of connection, obviously, with the brand. And just recently, Meatloaf passed away, and we got a chance to see Meatloaf in the jersey. And Dingo told Mark and I that whole relationship where Meatloaf was a fan of David's, and David gifted him a jersey. And
I'm glad there's another Brewers fan on this planet. Sometimes I think I'm the only one. That's a broken bat play, and in the end, I'm not totally sure how I think
he was hoping he was going to call it a foul ball, but I believe that was just put in play. We'll get a chance to see the replay right here. This is where Sammy Holland's tough, and watch the run on his two seam. See how that's 4 or 5. It did hit him in the foot, so they have called it a foul ball. So good call by third base umpire, and that's what he was contesting. Although he did hit him in the foot, and that deadens the ball and it keeps the at bat alive.
Yeah. No, I was wondering because I love the hustle that the players give, and it was very rare not to see the player concede.
Well, you can see the reaction. His body language is like whoa, that hit me on the foot.
I guess first reaction might be, ow.
or that was my favorite bat.
Yeah, exactly. I got a broken bat and a broken foot. Thankfully, the foot looks okay.
I was going to acknowledge it, and we can see her, the young bat girl that's running across the field for you guys tonight.
Yep.
There's a bit of story there. So she was the bat girl for the Bandits, the whole hub, and she also was the bat girl for the matchup between the Bandits female and the Giants
in the showcase.
And so she asked if she could be the bat person. I'll be politically correct for the Bandits in Game 1, and obviously it was a definitely yes. Because she's just become such a favorite for all the players. They really enjoyed. Her spirit. And so, once again, that little thing, that little connection. All hit hard.
There's a hard hit one. Ooh. And has he claimed it? No, safe.
It's on the bounce, but good job keeping it in front. And once
could have been worse.
I think that's your fan favorite at the plate.
Well, we're now at what I call a one-pitch warning, where a double play will give the Bandits victory.
Good thing is with him, he's going to bump your fan base by between 7 and 10%. just on.
So that was Barry who got on with the hit to centre. Now we go back to Partington. We've still just played over 2 hours.
Which is still a good, like I said, it's been a good match, and we've, once again, quality of baseball's been outstanding. We've seen a little bit of everything, and then obviously star power comes into play with Lutzy hitting one 500 feet, but it's been entertaining, and that's what's so important, you know, when we talk about longevity and succession planning and sustainability. There is a model there,
and it's probably
that can work.
These series, and given what the national team has ahead now, that they almost have to reset and look. Well, I don't
even call it reset. It's now you're at the building stages, so you've got a 6-year runway to 28. So how are you going to leverage the next 6 years? And that's that's such the imperative question. How are you going to leverage the next 6 years? Because the young athletes we see on the field right now, the young ones, will be the representation.
That's about to say, there's a decent
Gold.
chance that some young kid that we've called this weekend
will be playing for Australia.
Will be part of Team Australia trying to qualify and hopefully play in the LA Olympics.
And look, if you're not on a 6-year plan, then you have no chance at the international level. It is a long-term plan. It's not a short-term plan.
And do you think that under-19 series that you had last weekend, given we're at a one-pitch warning, we could end any moment, is that possibly a way of making that more a regular thing?
I'll just say I like the question, and I have my views, and I say yes.
Okay. That one's into, on top of the dugout.
And I'll say it in a lot of positive ways. I got a chance to speak to a lot of scouts that were also national representatives. They came up to us in Brisbane and said what a great initiative was. And I've advocated to other teams at this stage that we need to recreate that model, and we need to actually put it part of a long-term plan. That's a BA discussion. That's outside my pay grade. But the reality is we can support that vision because we know that we've shown it can work.
You can give them the opposition to play if nothing. That's one's over. Now this could be at a double play try.
Oh, wow.
The throw's gonna not be there. They've been. It's not poor fielding. It's just the time it takes to get to second, and by that stage.
That's a tough conversion because the ball wasn't hit hard, and you can see the feed was a glove feed, so he didn't get to transition from the hand. So just a little bit more delay. Normally at the big league level with that kind of, we call that, it's almost like a suicide pass because then normally you get cleaned up. But good job of Nielsen avoiding getting taken out to left field.
Well, we're at the bottom of the 7th. There's one out in the bag. One out left for the Giants. And Rickson Wingrove's at the plate. Unfortunately, if he hits a home run, it's 2. And we trail by 4. That's going to be a reading grounder. The throw is fumbled. Was going to call the ball game right there and then. Poor Carl Pike has really been worked out at first base a fair bit by some of the throws. And look, Wingrove had said thank you very much.
And I'll tell you what, right now, once again, in transition, so that's your third baseman who's fielded that.
Yeah.
So that's Jacob Nielsen. And
that's the shift.
Correct. And so,
not working.
So the difference is that traditionally he's making a lot different throw. So he's got different footwork. So that's a second baseman footwork throw. And you can just see it just didn't transition into a good throwing position, and he forced it. And that is the difference in the shift is, you've got to actually practice that throw as well.
The odds are still in the Giants' favour. Sorry, in the Bandits' favour, my apologies. It's a 4-run margin. This 2 are on. For the Giants to force extras, they've got to get Edwards on, and then the tying run comes to the plate. And Edwards.
Once again, Bandits have a power shift with 2 outs and another dangerous hitter at the plate.
They do.
So Mitch Nielsen is actually playing a deep second base, short right field.
Yeah.
And your shortstop's now playing a double play depth second base.
Glad you've got it covered, Gons, because this has confused the heck out of me all day.
Well, I'll tell you what, last week I had to do what you did, and I didn't realize how many movies, well, I did. I definitely respect that side of the game.
Yeah.
But there's so many moving parts because you're looking at screens and trying to look at changes and keep up with the score and the outs.
Yeah. That's fun. Wouldn't do anything else. That one is hit to Pike, who's fumbled it, and that's your ball game. Hearts in mouth for Bandits fans as the ball got away from Pike momentarily. He had time to recover. Holland did the pitcher's work to get on first base. That's your ball game, and the Bandits, for the first time in a couple of years, will leave Adelaide victorious. A 7-3 victory and the end of a wonderful 3-game series of Australian baseball.
Yeah, Phil, thank you. This was enjoyable, and like I said, I'm proud of this product, just in the sense of what the future has to hold. It is so promising when we see these young athletes and even emerging athletes compete at the next level. And we've got young men that are as young as 17 facing veterans as old as 33, as let's see will be next week. What a treat for us as commentators and the fans, in the future of the game.
I've had an absolute ball gone. A reminder for Bandits fans, if you've enjoyed the stream, go one better. Get to the ballpark next week. Cavalry's coming to town. Adelaide, we're off to Melbourne. Should be something here in a fortnight. Mate, I've really enjoyed picking your brain all day. It's been great to work with you. Hopefully we get to do it again some time in the future.
No, thank you. And thanks to the organization and Davo for the invite, and you guys for the call. I got a late call saying if I would come and support, and like I say, I'm always happy to support the game of baseball.
Quick thank you to David, Simon, Carl, Jono, Mitchell, and producer Brandon from Spacequake Sports, bringing you all the great pictures. This is Phil Hurden saying good night from West Beach.